During the trial, Florman's lawyer portrayed his 21-year-old client as a scared young man.
If he had to be found guilty, we're satisfied with the verdict.
I was disappointed. I was mad.
Even at the age of 87, Charles Watson still gets riled up.
It was an open and shut case.
When the former prosecutor thinks back on a rape case that shocked Central Virginia more than 30 years ago.
So this particular case it sounds like it was one of the big disappointments of your time as Commonwealth's attorney, since you couldn't partake in it.
It was. It caused a lot of contentious behavior in the next 4 years.
During the course of this trial, Florman contended he and the Chesterfield woman agreed to have sex, but that she got scared her husband would find out and had police arrest Florman.
It's a case that attracted a lot of attention because the victim was a nurse and the suspect, Cornelius Francis Florman Jr., was a member of one of Richmond's wealthiest families.
Heir to the Reynolds Metals fortune.
In November of 1986, Chesterfield police charged the 20-year-old great-grandson of the founder of Reynolds Metals with breaking into a woman's Bon Air home and violently raping her.
Florman is in court in Henrico for the second day, accused of rape and breaking and entering.
Just days later, Henrico police arrested Florman for a nearly identical attack that took place at another woman's home near the University of Richmond.
They just don't do it one time and forget it.
The Henrico case went before a jury twice, first ending in a mistrial, then an acquittal.
The defendant had very good evidence that he was someplace else.
But the evidence worked against him in the Bon Air case. Thanks to a neighbor who chased down the suspect's van and got the license plate number, police quickly connected Florman to the crime scene. And during the trial, the victim testified that she had gotten a good look at him.
Accused rapist Neil Florman is now convicted rapist Neil Florman.
So in June of 1987, a Chesterfield jury found him guilty of rape and sentenced him to 5 years in prison. Not nearly enough time, says Watson, but he was powerless to do anything about it.
My heart was in the right place. I just wasn't at the scene. At the courthouse.
Watson believes Florman deserved 50 years to life behind bars for the rape and says that is what he would have pushed for, but he didn't prosecute the case because he was fighting cancer at the time. One of his assistants, Frederick Rockwell, tried the case in his absence. Rockwell spoke with CBS 6 after the verdict.
In this particular case, the jury looked at Mr. Florman, and he looked like a Boy Scout. He looked like a child. And I think they looked at him and said, we're hesitant to put him in the penitentiary for any length of time, and I think that's the reason for the minimum sentence.
Watson believes if he hadn't been in the hospital, the outcome may have been different.
And I'm still wondering why that happened. And if I had done what I wanted, that would never have happened.
Now, decades later, Florman is once again a rape suspect. Newly tested DNA evidence has linked him to a brutal attack that took place in Florida in 1998.
My wife was getting showered, and I grabbed the paper, I ran into her, and I just said, I was very devastated.
Watson says he hopes this time Florman gets the sentence he believes he deserves.
Well, I hope they put him away for good.
Now, it's worth noting that Florman did not even serve the full sentence that he was given in the Chesterfield case. Because of mandatory parole, he was released after only 3 years. And while he was acquitted in Henrico, his accuser there later won a multi-million-dollar judgment in civil court. Florman has also been convicted of crimes against women in Kentucky and Texas. No charges have yet been filed in the Florida case. Working for you, I'm Melissa H for CBS 6.